was just because in my mind, I just saw when he got up out of that playoff game, his whole jersey was green from just rolling in the grass, getting knocked in the grass, getting tackled in the grass. And this man was making plays. I'm glad his contract reflects the hard work he's putting forth.
Absolutely.
About it, everyone's starting to now pay attention to the Bills, where they're going, what they're doing, who they're drafting. Still need to fill that running back void that you kind of still have. That's a hole there. I'm surprised that during the draft they kind of didn't focus on that as much as I thought they would.
Yeah.
However, let's talk about, of course, the most difficult, the Bills playoff loss. Now I know a lot of fans, yeah, there it is.
I'm still dressing the wound.
I know, right? I had to tackle this, in a way because, the Chiefs, they outlasted you. It was 42-36, and it went into overtime. And we for sure thought hey, if the Bills get the ball, it's done because they played great football this entire time. Defense could have did a little bit better, but I understand you're trying to stop Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce and what's his name that just went to the Miami Dolphins?
Tyreek Hill.
Yep, Tyreek Hill as well. And it is just clearly it was a really intense game. I couldn't take my eyes off the screen. And the memes after was Josh Allen and that coin toss.
Oh, I know.
I felt so bad, but I really want to hear from you. What was your thoughts when you saw your team? You made it finally to the playoffs. You finally beat one, had to go. This was it. This was to the next level. And a coin toss decided it all.
Yeah. I mean, it was definitely a heartbreaker. Everybody in the city knows that if Josh Allen got the ball again, and it's not just, I'm trying to not be as biased as I am, because there is a tiny bit of bias, but in all fairness, the way that Josh Allen was playing, he would have won that game. I mean, there's no question about it. I really think it just came down to the fact that our defense, which by the way, was the number 1 ranked defense last year in all of football.
Yeah.
Our defense was just gassed. I mean, they literally just ran out of gas. And I mean, who could blame them? I mean, the Chiefs offense gave it right back to them, as you saw.
Yeah.
And so it was just, that's why it was so heartbreaking, because of the fact that you felt for the defense, because they literally they pushed beyond what they thought they could do and still fell short. And so I think that's why we really did put a little bit of focus. I mean, that's why we signed we drafted Kyer Elam in the first round, because with Tre'Davious White going down last year and not having him in the playoffs, I think we really wanted to have some depth in the back end of that defense. Mm-hmm. But I will say, getting back to what you said about the running back situation, don't count out James Cook, okay? Because I think he was a sneaky pick. I really do. I mean, Georgia just won the championship, and he runs very similar to his older brother Dalvin.
Okay.
And I think he's a very sneaky pick. Now, we don't know what he's going to do until he actually starts playing. Yeah. And obviously, Devin Singletary has held the fort pretty well. Unfortunately, Zach Moss just has not been, in my opinion, Zach Moss just has not been what we wanted him to be and what we need him to be on the field, because he's either always getting hurt or he's just not being as productive as we thought he was going to be. But just the way that comparing him, I think, to be honest, I think that's drafting James Cook was one of the most underrated picks in the draft, in my opinion. So, but yeah, I mean, the loss last year was a heartbreaker. Obviously, they changed the rule now because of it, which is really interesting to see.
Definitely. They had a lot of debate around, apparently this isn't the first time where the conversation has started to change the overtime rule. For those who have not maybe been following a lot of the changes the NFL has been making, that's fine. Not your average cheerleader does that for you. This is my little reminder for you to subscribe, because I don't just talk about the players, I talk about the rules as well. And the old rule was hey, we get to overtime, we're tied up, we do a coin toss. If you are as unlucky as Josh Allen, other team wins a coin toss and gets the ball. Should they score, you won't get to touch the ball at all. They go home, they've won, it's over. With the new rule, that no longer matters anymore. So let's say same situation, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes wins the coin toss. Josh Allen's like, crap. With the new rule, he won't say crap, because even if Patrick Mahomes leads the team down there to score, they're still going to get a chance on the Bills side to touch the ball and go back down and do the same. So this is really, I can't wait to see how this is going to play out, because you're talking about tie breaking, and the difficulty with that is, what if both teams score in overtime? Then what are you going to do? We're just going to keep going back and forth basically until, and the rule really didn't say much about when that situation happens. It kind of left off, both teams get to touch the ball now. And I think that that's great. Because the other team may only score a field goal, and now you can score a touchdown and basically win. I think also too, it's going to really challenge the play creativity down to the wire. What cool plays do you have in your book? Are we going to pull like a little giant situation, the annexation of Puerto Rico? Like, are we going to do something cool like that where we're hiding the ball, or like a flip flop? I just think it's going to be really, if you get some good offensive coaches in there, I think it's going to be really cool to see what's going to be done when overtime is in the wire. And we've had a few games that went into overtime last season. So
yeah, we did,
really
which was crazy to see. But to your point, I think one thing to note though is that yes, even though we didn't see as like what's going to happen if both teams score, I'm going to say 9 times out of 10, but the probability of you having the talent level on both sides of the ball as Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes is not every day. You know what I'm saying? So, because most of the quarterbacks, I mean, even some of the elite quarterbacks might not be able to do the same thing that they did. That's true. At the end of that game. So it will be really interesting to see what happens for sure.
I'm looking forward to it, because I think even sometimes, but to your point, I'm going to play devil's advocate. Even if you don't have a Patrick Mahomes or an Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady or whomever on the other side, if you have a good offensive coach that knows his team and knows what his team's capable of, you can create a great play. I think too many times we focus so much on just the talent. We don't focus on the offensive like coordinators and the people back there making those calls. Just like we need to give these defensive coordinators some credit. I mean, Todd Bowles, what he did for the Buccaneers during their winning season. I mean, everybody's like, the Buccaneers defense. I was like, yeah, but who had the iPad? It wasn't an iPad. It was a Microsoft Surface. Let me be more politically correct. Who had the little Surface tablet on the sideline, probably drawing up schematics all over the place? I think that that's what I'm really looking forward to seeing this year. Just what cool creative plays someone's going to come up with, because they want to win. You got to really want it. And I think that I can't wait to see it. I'm really hoping the Bills get back up there, because they're such a good force to be reckoned with in the season. So I'm looking forward to this 2022 season and what they're going to do.
Me too. And that's the thing, because obviously our previous offensive coordinator, Brian Daboll, is now the head coach of the Giants. And so we have, I mean, that offensive coordinator that got us to the playoffs the past 2 years and like really helped lead this offense is now the head coach for another team, which kudos to Brian Daboll. I mean, he deserves it. I mean, he worked his butt off to get that position. And don't sleep on the Giants either. I mean, are they going to be good? Probably not. But at the same time, like, watch them be better than they were last year. That's all I'll say.
2% better is better than no percent.
Exactly. Watch them be better. Watch them get a couple of more wins at the very
win is better than none.
Like, exactly. But it's because you have that leadership. And I know that our new offensive coordinator learned under Brian Daboll. So, and obviously our head coach, Sean McDermott, is just like focused, and our owners, the Pagulas, and our GM, Brandon Bean, just, they love this team. They love the city. They love the players, and they literally, you could see it. Like, they want to bring the Lombardi Trophy to Buffalo, and that's going to be the main goal.
And it's one of those things where you get so close that you're like itching for it, and like I feel like all you gotta do is give someone hope. You've been too many times very close to not get it at some point. I'm hoping that, that maybe we'll get to meet you in the playoffs. We did some refixing for our 49ers and re-signed some people. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm interested to see what that quarterback situation is gonna look like. I've read reports that Trey Lance has been practicing with Brandon Ayuk.
Yes.
I know I got his name right, y'all.
Yeah, you did.
Out there in the field, like I think they're trying to become part of the duo conversation when you're working one-on-one with a wide receiver. And I think they sleep on Brandon Ayuk a lot, but he made a lot of surprising catches this past season as well, that we didn't think, like, he got yards. I feel like he was one of those few that when we needed yards, he just surprisingly got yards. We were just like, oh, well, hello. Like, that's kind of how it was. Next to George Kittle, that's my tight end. I don't know about anybody else. George Kittle is my tight end. You can put that down like right below somewhere.
I had him on my fantasy team last year. So
because you made the right decision.
George Kittle's the man.
I had George Kittle on my fantasy team. I actually did get Stefon Diggs. I drafted him. I don't give away all my secrets, but I stopped picking who I like and I pick who I know is going to play well.
I did the same thing. I actually won my fantasy league last year. And it was the first time I won in football. And I think part of the reason why is because my first round draft pick, number 17, Josh Allen. So, which I know picking a quarterback first round can be debatable, but still, how could you not pick Josh Allen in the first round?
I picked Tom Brady. So the one year, every year I'm projected to lose. They look at my team and they're like, Ashley, you suck. You're going to come in last. And I never come in last. As a matter of fact, I come in either in the top 5 or in the year before last, I came in second. And they were like, oh, that's because you drafted all the Buccaneers. Say you didn't, like, you saw Tom Brady was building the Avengers down there. You didn't go drop certain people. I mean, at the time when Antonio Brown was, level-headed, I drafted him because I knew Tom Brady purposely called him at the time. I drafted with Leonard Fournette. I was just pulling people. I was like, if Tom Brady's calling you, you got to be good at your job. And I was right. I almost gave the reigning champ a run for her money. She was a little bit nervous at the time. But yeah, so before we close out, this has been a really great conversation, great discussion on what we believe. This is the first time really talking this much about the Bills on this channel. Oh my gosh.
Here's the thing though. Why not talk about the Bills? Right? Because that's my message to America and football fans all over the world. Why not the Buffalo Bills? Okay. I mean, there's a lot of conspiracies out there that thinks, oh, the NFL doesn't want the Bills to win or whatever. But like, and listen, we've gone through heartbreak. If you want to see the heartbreak we went through, go on Disney Plus. There's a 30 for 30, the 4 falls of the Buffalo Bills. Wow. It's on Disney Plus. It's random, but like it talks about how we went to the Super Bowl 4 years in a row and we lost all 4. But just seeing how good that team was, we lost 90, 91, 92, 93. We went to the Super Bowl 4 times in a row and we lost all 4. And that's what the Bills are known for. And so I think that's another reason why us as Bills Mafia wants to turn the page and write a brand new chapter about the Super Bowl champion Buffalo Bills.
Y'all need to break the curse like Kansas City did. Like, that's not good. Like, I mean, we got there when we started making the playoffs. Now we just need to finish it. Yep, that's true. So I'm gonna end with a fun kind of question. And I know you're a Bills fan, so I purposely did not choose Stefon Diggs and Josh Allen to be part of the choices here.
Okay.
But down to the wire, you're in overtime. You have to pick a duo to go into overtime with. Who are you going to choose? A, Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, or B, Tom Brady and Mike Evans?
If I had to choose out of the two, I would choose Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase.
What?
Simply, yes. And that is because simply of Jamar Chase. Okay. From the wide receiver end of it.
Yeah, that's fair.
I feel like compared to Mike Evans, Jamar Chase is going to be
No.
Jamar Chase is going to be your guy. I'm sorry.
No, immediately.
No disrespect to Mike Evans. Mike Evans is
no. I am no.
Mike Evans is awesome. But Jamar Chase, I mean,
no, y'all are just sleeping on Mike Evans. Like this man, listen, no disrespect to Jamar Chase, because I feel like with Joe Burrow, he's going to put up some numbers. But Mike Evans already has. And as a matter of fact, this was just on my last episode. Go listen to it. Go check it out. I talk about Mike Evans. Why is he not in the top, 10, top 5 wide receiver conversation? When we watched his statistics were good before Tom Brady got there. And remember, their quarterback sucked.
yeah.
But then you bring in the GOAT, and his stuff goes through the roof. Every season, he's already pushing 1,200 plus yards. He's scoring over 6 touchdowns. He's somehow always in that back part of the field of the end zone when Tom Brady needs to find him. Chris Godwin is a great slant quarterback. Let me get those yards. I'm a big guy. I can catch the ball and bulldoze through. But when it's time to score a touchdown, who's he throwing the ball to? He's throwing it to Mike Evans.
That's true. No, you got a point.
You have to. Listen. I love the debate. I love the debate.
Can I throw in a hot take though? Can I throw in a hot take?
Yes.
2022, Justin Herbert will have a better year than Joe Burrow.
I agree.
Justin Herbert will be in the top. I think, in my opinion, he's already in the top 5 quarterbacks in the league right now. Justin Herbert will have a better year than Joe Burrow.
Listen, I agree. I think they need to give him a weapon. I feel like the wide receivers on the Chargers are like this, they're like, oh my God, I can't,
Yeah.
It's just like, I can't. I knew. So I said this again, this is one of those episodes, go back to, I think it was 2020, 2021, one of those season episodes. That's how long I've been doing this. And I watched him during Hard Knocks. Mm-hmm. And they brought him in because of having to medically put the other quarterback on leave. And this kid was just throwing paper balls into the trash can, working on his aim and his accuracy. Accuracy. Do you hear that?
Absolutely.
49ers quarterback, Jimmy G, accuracy.
That's right.
I said, that kid's going to be a force to reckon with. And I said, he needs weapons. I'm not knocking the wide receivers you got, but somebody got to step up and say, I'm going to be that person for you.
Right. And it all goes down to ownership and front office. That's really what it goes down to.
But you're right. I feel like if one of the wide receivers on that team steps up and they start practicing together, like, what Trey Lance is doing with Homeboy, you're right. He's going to be a force. He's going to surpass Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow's taken too many hits in that pocket. If he wants to have a longer career in this industry, he's going to have to get a better offensive line defending him and protecting him in that pocket so he can make the plays. So,
also, another hot take.
Yeah.
If the Bills beat the Chiefs last year, the Bills would have won the Super Bowl. Because we would have it would have gone back to Buffalo. We would have mowed through Cincinnati.
Okay.
And it would have been a great game against the Rams.
Yeah.
But I think the Bills would have won. If the Chiefs did not beat us the way they did, the Bills would be Super Bowl champions.
Here's what I think. I think that it would have been a great chance for the Bills to win. I'm actually not going to call that game because I think it would have just come down to the wire. If whoever wanted it more, I think both teams really wanted it. So it just would have been ultimately just like seriously entertaining game to watch. And I think if the Bills capitalize off of Matthew Stafford. Sorry.
Matthew Stafford.
Yeah, Matthew Stafford's mistakes that he made, because he made a couple, then yes, I would call that game for the Bills. The problem was he was making those mistakes and the other team the Bengals didn't capitalize off of it. Like,
yes,
sometimes he gave y'all the ball back and you didn't do anything with it. You didn't gain any yardage. You didn't make a first down. And literally you just had the ball. So it's just like, I feel like that's what these teams need to learn. If that team is making mistakes, that's your time. You need to move.
That's right.
So,
and the Bills defense last year was better than the Bengals defense. So
yeah, I agree with that. Those guys are kind of quite scary.
Yeah. And we got Von Miller now. So better defense.
Sure do, with that crazy contract. Listen, I'm excited for what this team's going to do this season. I'm excited to see them go further than they did last year. I was shocked that my team, I don't count my team out anymore. Every time I think this is not going to be our season, we somehow make it to the playoffs. And then we beat the Dallas Cowboys. We beat the Green Bay Packers. Y'all don't understand the ritual I have, the anxiety I have. I was doing homework. I was using Google to check the score because I just couldn't watch the game. So when I was watching the little football move up and down a little, like, oh my gosh, Jimmy G, what are you doing? Like, I'm yelling at a screen that has no players on it, no nothing.
You're yelling at Google.
I'm yelling at Google. So it's just, that's kind of how I watch all my 49ers games. But I have a special surprise for everybody. Maybe I'll be able to watch my team in person. Stay tuned for that wonderful thing coming soon.
That'd be awesome.
And Andrew, thank you so much for joining us on Not Your Average Cheerleader. I appreciate you. We'll probably definitely have you back maybe mid-season, see how your team
I'd love to be. Thank you so much for having me.
Man, thank you so much. Again, fans, thank you for joining us, hanging out with us. I'm sure you probably have a lot of thoughts. Drop your comments below. I definitely want to hear from you. Y'all know I like to respond to people. Clearly, that's why this guy is here, because he's always got a comment for me that I love. So go ahead. Don't forget to subscribe and visit www.notyouraveragecheerleader.com for more information. I'm your host, Ashley Gibbs. Thank you so much. Bye.
Go Bills.